much. So most of my viewers are very interested in acquiring homes and home ownership and purchasing land to build their houses. So I'm sure that most of them will be very intrigued and interested in what this video will be about and the discussion. So we're going to jump right into it. So I have my list of questions as pulled together by myself and a number of my subscribers. So you will see me from time to time looking down to ensure that I get across all of them. All right. So
Sure.
we are aware that the NHT was established in 1976 to provide housing for Jamaicans. So let us start from the beginning. So who really qualifies for an NHT loan?
Well, the NHT Act says once you're a Jamaican, once you're working in Jamaica, you're between the ages of 18 and 65, you're earning at least minimum wage, whether you're employed by a company or self-employed, you must be contributing to the NHT. So that's the very beginning. It starts with who is a contributor. And as I said, once you're between the ages of 18 and 65, you're earning at least minimum wage, you must be contributing to the NHT. So who qualifies for a loan now? Any individual who would have contributed to the NHT for at least 52 weeks, which is 1 year. So once you would have satisfied that first eligibility criteria is that you would have contributed to the NHT for at least 52 weeks, 1 year. And that doesn't have to be one consistent 52-week period. It can be 6 months this year, 6 months last year. Once the NHT is able to account for 52 weeks of contributions over a period of time, then you would be eligible where that is concerned. In addition, however, you, at the time of loan application, you must be a current NHT contributor. And what we mean by a current NHT contributor is that within the last 6 months, you must have made 3 months worth of contributions being paid over on your behalf. If it is that you are a PAYE individual, meaning a company employs you and make those contributions on your behalf, or in the case of you being self-employed, you must have made 2 quarterly payments in the last 6 months to be able to qualify for a loan from the NHT. Again, you must be between the ages of 18 and 70 to get a loan. And that 70 is a recent adjustment because previously we stopped borrowing relations at age 65. But we realized that persons are living longer, right. Persons are working longer as well. And so within the last year and a half, we would have made an adjustment to the upper age limit as it relates to borrowing, and we move that from 65 to 70. So those are the basic, I would call, eligibility criteria. Again, there are other factors that we'll bear in mind as to how much you get to borrow, and I'm sure we'll get into a discussion about that. So I won't jump into those variables just yet, but those would be the basic loan eligibility requirements.
Okay, so just to wrap that up, in order to qualify, you need to be a Jamaican between the age of 18 and 70. Previously, it was 65, but it's now increased to age 70. And they need to be contributing at least for a year, 52 weeks. And you did mention it does not have to be 52 consecutive weeks. Once you can count them up and it adds to the 52, then that person would qualify, correct?
That's correct.
All right, so thank you so much for that. So this would lead into my other question that I have here. I have a subscriber who has been contributing for some years back, but for some reason, I think she lost her job and she was not contributing. So for her to become eligible, she would now need to come to the NHT to start contributing again, and you would add up all of those years that she would have contributed before. So it would not be a loss based on what you just said.
No, it would not be a loss. At the time of loan application, we would expect her to be current, meaning 3 months of contributions, or as we say, 13 weeks, which generally equates to about 3 months. So once she starts making contributions again, and satisfy that 13-week/3-month period, she would become eligible to access a loan after that time.
Okay. All right. So thank you so much for that clarification. In terms of persons who are Jamaicans, because you did mention Jamaicans. So what if I am a Jamaican, but I am currently living overseas? How do I qualify myself to obtain a loan from the NHT?
Well, the NHT has another category of contributors. Well, to look at our category of contributors, we have our PAYE. You're employed by someone and that person makes the contributions on your behalf. You have persons who are self-employed. I believe that's self-explanatory. Yeah. You're your own boss. Oh, yes. And so you make your NHT contributions on a quarterly basis for yourself. And then the third category now we have is our voluntary contributors. And by voluntary, we mean that they don't have to make NHT contributions, but they choose to. And this is where our individuals or Jamaicans living overseas are concerned. I must clarify, though, that there are two categories of Jamaicans living overseas. We have those individuals who have perhaps gone on short-term work, or they're overseas not as a result of a change in citizenship or a change as it relates to immigration status. Those individuals are still considered self-employed and would fall in the quarterly payment group. Right. But now the Jamaicans who know you're a green card holder, you're a citizen, those individuals can register as what we call voluntary contributors and be able to access their NHT benefits just the same as anyone else. So we have a simple form, a one-page form that we ask those individuals to fill out, and they make their payments on a monthly basis, rather. Right. 3% of their income on a monthly basis that they make to the NHT as contribution payments. If they have never contributed to the NHT ever before, it is 2 years before they become eligible for a loan. If they have contributed to the NHT for a 52-week period before leaving Jamaica, because we have individuals who would have migrated, etc., and would have been paying NHT contributions before leaving, then it would just be 1 year for those individuals. So after a year of contributing again, they would become eligible for an NHT loan as well.
Okay, so that's good news for persons who are living overseas, whether or not they started contributing from here. But just so if they have not started, if they didn't start when they were here and they're now living overseas, they need 2 years worth of contribution. But if you were employed here and you were paying your NHT contributions, you only need to contribute for 1 year.
That's correct, yes.
Right. So that's good to know. So persons here and overseas, once you are Jamaicans, you can contribute and benefit from the National Housing Trust.
Yes, and I'll add it's extended Jamaicans as well. So you don't necessarily have to be born here. Your parents could be of Jamaican birth, but you, as an example, perhaps were born overseas, you're of Jamaican descent. Then the NHT also considers the broader diaspora when it comes to the classification of who Jamaicans are and who can contribute to the NHT.
Okay, that's good to know. So if you're from Jamaican parents and you're living overseas and you are interested in buying real estate in Jamaica, you can contribute to the National Housing Trust and benefit from all the things that they have right there, correct?
That's correct.
Beautiful. All right,